Hello, this is Roland. Checking in to see how you're doing. And if you're not doing so well, maybe I can help. Um, what can I do? Well, what I can do is speak the truth, hopefully without fanfare and without emotion. Um, from the heart, hopefully, and thereby, perhaps, awaken some people to the truth within them. See, the truth is the truth. So, a good math teacher cannot do the studying for the student, nor can the math teacher make the student realize or understand some of the principles of math. But what the math teacher can do is talk about the principles, okay, until the student says, "Oh, I see, I get it." Okay? So it's an interesting thing that reality, life, yes, life, which is an awesome thing, that we would be conscious and aware of the passage of time, for example, and that we would be able to understand principles of truth. It's an amazing thing, really. But there is truth, okay, and then there are lies. Now, lies serve a purpose in that they awaken the good people to yearn for the truth and love the truth even more. Okay? Awakens potentially good people to search for the truth. Okay? And lies have another purpose, which is to deceive and fool people and cause them to suffer. And perhaps through their suffering, the suffering might bring them to search for the truth. Okay? So suffering has a purpose. Okay? It stresses us to see whether we might be a person who searches for the truth and really, really, really wants it to. See, most people don't want the truth. They really don't want it. Because the truth would eventually show their own wrong, which they don't want to see. Most people have an ego, have a pride, okay, where they want to be right, and they want to be good, and they want to be innocent, and they want to be seen as good. Okay? And when anything conflicts with that, well, we don't want to hear it. Okay? Now, it's an amazing thing that people could be so self-righteous. So let's talk about self-righteousness for a moment, shall we? That might be a good topic for today. Self-righteousness. There are a lot of self-righteous people around. No, they're not all Christians, or they're not all ministers or such people. No, they're not. There are self-righteous people of all stripes and colors and creeds and levels of society, and everywhere you look, you'll find self-righteous people. Which means that they think highly of themselves, or want to think highly of themselves, and they look down their nose at other people or judge other people. So you could have somebody laying in the gutter, okay, a total drug addict, total degenerate drug addict, laying in the gutter, and he says to somebody that's walking by, "Hey, give me $1," or whatever, and the person says, "I'm sorry, I can't, or I won't," or just walks by without saying anything. And the person laying in the gutter then puffs up in pride and judges the one that didn't give him $1, see? He gets a little secret high out of judging that person, condemning that person, saying, "See, it's that person's, it's people like that, that's why I'm here, because people don't have any love. They don't want to help. They don't want to reach out and help somebody. That sort of thing. So that's what goes on in his mind. So even though he's reached the very bottom, as low as you can get, he judges other people. Okay. A lot of ladies have a problem with judgment, and the reason they have a problem with it is because men are so judgeable. See, men have failed from the very beginning. From the very beginning, men have failed. Adam failed to love Eve. If he had loved Eve, he would look. If he loved God and loved the truth, see, he was close to God, so he should have had awareness. If he wanted to have the awareness and didn't get fixated by the idea of greatness, of knowledge, doing it his own way, then he would have seen all the way to the end. He would have seen what would have happened, what was in store. See, that they call that vision. They say leaders should have vision. They say my people perish for a lack of vision. We need vision, don't we? Do we have vision? How about our leaders? Do they have vision? No, they don't, for the most part. But if he had had vision, he would have seen all the way, like looking far off to the horizon. He would have seen what was in store if he ate of that tree of knowledge, which Father had told him not to. See, and then he would have seen how it would have harmed Eve, how his failure would have tempted her to judge him, how it would get them booted out of paradise, how they would both suffer for it, and progeny would suffer. See, he would have seen that, and then he wouldn't have touched it. But he didn't see it because that's not what state of mind he was in right there. His state of mind is he was lost in thinking, fantasy, thinking about how great he could be with knowledge. See? Which today, but anyway, so you get the idea. And ever since then, men have failed. See, a man should be God-centered. Most men are women-centered. Somehow woman, see, Adam failed to the woman. Her words, food, okay, her presence, he fell to it. And ever since then, men have been, you could say, subject to women. Women-oriented. Women are their God. See, women, they worship women, and we have Mother's Day, and so on. Everybody's worshiping. See, mom is worshipped. Women are worshipped. Men always want something from her. See, now what do they want from? What does a man want from the woman? Does he love the woman? No, he doesn't. What is he? He wants something from her. He wants her to support his ego, to support his animal nature, the sexual nature to which he fell when he failed. See, Adam and Eve could have lived forever, perpetually renewed, and lived forever. But when he failed, he began to change, and no longer could he live forever. His body was dying. And when his body began to die, then thoughts came and urges came to procreate, to create replacement bodies, so that when he passed away, then there would be children and grandchildren and so on to replace him. See? So it's been that way ever since. Ever since the Garden of Eden, people have failed and died and had to procreate. So that's what he wants. He doesn't want to know the truth about his fallen condition. He wants her to validate his animal, to make him feel, to pretend. See, women sometimes have to hold their nose because of what men want from them, demand from them. Yeah, men demand from them. So the woman has to hold her nose and pretend, see, that she's worshiping him. See, admiring him. She pretends, but inside she has contempt for the animal, for the sniveling, weak mama's boy that comes crawling to her. Whenever things go wrong out in the world, then he comes crawling to her to validate and approve of him, and feel sorry for him, and comfort him, and all that kind of stuff. See, so he makes her into his God. So she is the God of his fallen nature, his failing nature. But a man should be God-oriented. See, if he would be validated by anyone, it would be from the Creator within. Now the Creator within, God, see, would not validate his contemptuous behavior. See, a lot of men are liars. See, they slip their wedding ring into their pocket, or they don't even wear one, or they slip it into their pocket if there's a interesting lady around, okay? Or they go to the office and play footsies, go out and have coffee with someone. See? They're always tempting fate. Men are always tempting fate. See, they what do you call that? The life of excitement. Driving a little too fast, playing sports a little too hard, drinking a little too much. See? Always tempting fate. See? Men are actually, men are also death-oriented. Everywhere you look. It looks like men are deliberately trying to fail and get themselves messed up. Okay? To them, that's excitement. See, failure is excitement. Danger is exciting. Look at men gambling. Gambling is what? It's the opposite of faith. See, a man of faith would never spend a penny on a lottery ticket. See, or gamble. He just wouldn't. He's not interested in the laws of chance, and he lives according to fate and looks to God. Okay? A man of faith, or a man who's close to God, who loves reality, who loves truth, who has nothing to deny. See, what do you think people drink for? They drink to deny. They eat. People work to deny. Sex to deny. Eat to deny. See, take drugs to deny. What are they denying? Well, they're denying the truth about their own fallen self. They're denying their disgusting pride. See, they're denying a lot of other things too. So, therefore, now you can see men fail. They look to the woman to support them. See, and if she doesn't support him anymore, if she stops supporting him, then what? He'll go off and find another woman. He'll find somebody's lower. See, he'll keep sinking lower and lower, because the lower he sinks, the lower someone has to sink to pretend to worship him and admire him and respect him. See? So men go off to prostitutes and surrogate, women. They go off to bartenders and drug dealers and someone else that will coddle them and help them to deny the truth and tell them that they're okay. The bartender says, "Oh, you're okay the way you are," and hands him another drink instead of giving him a dose of truth. See? So what we need is truth, first of all. That's what you need, is the truth. And then don't resent it when you hear the truth. See, if you're walking down the street and then someone said, "Hey, you got mustard smeared all over your pants. You must have sat down in some mustard." So, are you grateful to find out about that so you can not embarrass yourself further and maybe change your pants or clean them or something? Or do you resent hearing it? Hey, you got a piece of spinach on your tooth, stuck between your tooth. See? Are you glad to be told that? I mean, it makes you uncomfortable, of course, but are you glad to hear it, or do you resent it? See? Well, a wise man maybe is uncomfortable, but he's glad, see, to know the truth. So the truth about our fallen existence, it's not a pretty picture, but see, it's disturbing to egos who want to be prideful. See? So can you see that people who lie to us, for example, who talk about evolution, although there is a kind of evolution and evolvement of things, there is that. But the kind of atheistic evolution, where an amoeba suddenly becomes a fish, and then a fish becomes a bird, and the bird becomes a dinosaur. I mean, it's just absurd. And then somehow an ape becomes a man. I mean, it's absurd. Talk about needing faith. See, they need faith to believe that kind of stuff. Okay, so can you see that you're being degraded? See, they're telling you that you're rising instead of falling, that you're getting better. See, And admittedly, we have more technology nowadays. But what is it? It's a compensation. It's a compensation. It helps you to live longer and become stronger. See? So a good dose of truth is what we need. So if I occasionally have speak the truth, then that's about the most I can do. Sure, I help people with meditation. See, I've got a lot of wonderful things to help people, but basically those are all extensions of what? Of the truth. Now that brings us to the topic of meditation. Most meditations are basically false meditations. I was watching a program the other day, a video. I won't mention any names, but it was a famous meditator, person who teaches meditation all over, hospitals, organizations, and everywhere. And he's giving a talk at a very big and very well-known international organization. Which they brought him in to talk to the employees. So he probably makes $50,000 for one day. He's probably there for a day, maybe two, and he gets, or they have him go to various locations and pay him $80,000 or something for a week. See what I mean? Maybe more, probably more. But there he was. Then he led a meditation, and you know what it was? There was nothing. There was nothing. It was nothing at all. Okay. And there was usual focus on your breathing, on your breath, see. You know what that is? That's hypnotic. See, a true meditation, see, brings you closer to reality, closer to truth. Okay. Now, some people listen to me. You can listen to me and you get a little close, I tend to wake people up when I talk about men, women, and Adam and Eve and so on. It wakes you up to see, yes, that's the truth. Men are failing, women judge men, so on and so forth. But then people go out in the world and then they lose it. They become hypnotized. But anyway, see, the hypnosis is the opposite of the true meditative. The true meditative state is aware, unhypnotized, defocused, not caught up in something, not lost in imagination or lost in anything, but standing back, freed from entanglements, okay? But meditation, hypnosis, it does what? The hypnotist asks you to concentrate, see, to focus. See, as soon as you start focusing on something, you're already obeying him. You're already narrowing the scope of your awareness, of your depth of your field, and you're already partially hypnotized by the very fact that you're obeying what he says. Okay. And then focusing on the breath is hypnotic. See, if you study hypnosis, which I have, okay. One of the techniques that hypnotists use is to automatize something that people naturally do. In other words, a person can naturally reach to get a glass of water, for example. You just reach over there and get the water, and you don't even have to think about it. But the hypnotist will say, well, now what about this and that, and think about this and that. And then the person can get so tongue-tied, or so, what's the expression to use, so self-conscious about it that they start to have a hard time actually doing it. That's why people that have been pressured, see, then sometimes they have a hard time performing because they start focusing on every little thing. So the hypnotist will say, focus on this and think about that. Where's your foot, and why are you doing this, and why are you doing that, and you should do this and you should do that. I remember when I was in college, there was a guy there, a real con man. Oh, he was so clever and he was so charming. He was fun to be around. He was very, very charming, very personable. But he was a con man, and he liked to hustle people and get money from them. But when he would play pool, there's different pool games. A popular game would be, for example, 9-ball. Nine ball is a game that a lot of people will play for money. Okay, And while they were playing, then he would say to the other person, well, your stroke should be a little bit longer, and your bridge should be a little bit higher, and your stance, you should be turned a little more to the side, and your see he would get the person, but because he was so clever, he seemed knowledgeable, and then he would get the person so caught up in thinking about different aspects that they would start to mess up and lose their skill. So you get the idea. So between the nothingness of it and between the focusing on the breathing, but you see, the people, they were already hypnotized. The very fact that they think he's great, that they think he has something that will make them greater, calmer, wiser, live longer, healthier, that will get rid of their aches and pains, that will make them more productive and help them get promoted, and oh yes, all that is blended in. So you see what I mean? So I'm not going to knock any of it. I'm just saying that it's not the real thing. Okay? But the real thing is not for most people, because most people don't want the truth. But some people do, especially young people. They like the truth. They love to hear the truth. See? So you men, with your families, okay, maybe at least what you can do is this: don't lie to them. Okay? And don't ask them to respect you when you're not respectable. Okay? And honor the truth. If your child is there, and your child asks you a question, and then you're watching football, and you say, "Oh, leave me alone. I'm trying to watch football," and then you see that you're impatient. You're impatient, selfish. Then admit it. Say, "I'm sorry. I was selfish and impatient. I apologize." Be man enough to admit the truth. Okay? And stop lying. And if you don't know the truth, then just admit that you don't know the truth, and don't put on airs and pretense. See? And for the time being, maybe don't try to meddle in everybody's lives, and don't go around pointing everything out, because you're not respectable. First, you have to become respectable. How can you become respectable? The truth is respectable. We honor. See, people respect someone. Look, how about these situations where someone is captured, like, for example, just make something, talk about any old, like, for example, in the Vietnam War, some of the men were captured and were held prisoner. Like, for example, Vice Admiral James Stockdale was held prisoner in what they called the Hanoi Hilton. He was in solitary confinement for years total. But you know what? He was honorable, and they respected him. He put up a great fight. It was tough. There's no question about it. But they respected him. And the ones that tried to make friends with the enemy and tried to and conformed and went along with the enemy right away, thinking that way they could buy their own safety or get better treatment or something like that. They didn't end up so good, and they weren't respected either. So you speak the truth, and at least you'll be respected. But speak it with kindness. See, without vacillation, without wavering. Just plain and simple truth. That's all. If somebody asks you what time it is, just tell them it's 2:00. See? Just be honest. Just be an honest person, and don't embellish things, and don't look for a response from other people. Don't expect them to like you or think you're wonderful or respect you or anything. Just speak the truth. The truth is respectable. So if you honor the truth, see, then to the extent that you honor truth and are honest yourself, to that extent you are somewhat respectable. Okay? So don't look for love. See, be a respectable person. And then if you love the truth, see, and begin to see the truth about yourself, then you're going to clean up your act too. If you honor the truth, then you're drinking, you're smoking marijuana, you're playing the lottery, you're gambling, you're wasting money on you're the husband and you're wasting money on jewelry for yourself. Okay, some little pretentious daubles to hang on your ear or on your nose or something. It's who could respect you for that? No one. Okay, you just be respectable, be honest. Okay, and that's a good start. And then clean up your act. Okay, clean up your act. Throw away your marijuana cigarettes and throw away your lottery tickets. See, and put sports back where it belongs, at the very, very bottom. See, especially spectator sports. See, your first priority should be work, and living a decent life, being there for your family, honoring truth, standing for something. Okay, and making repairs and whatever else. But then if there's any time left over, which there really oughtn't to be, but if there is a little bit of time left over, well then maybe, but then maybe you should then use that to go for a walk or to write something or to help somebody. Not to sit around staring at some other men playing a game. It's a waste of time. So put things in the proper order. If you can't clean up your act, you can't throw away your marijuana cigarettes, you can't stop with your sports addiction, you can't stop playing the lottery, okay, then just continue then, but just see that you're messing up. See it. At least admit it to yourself. Don't look for support from other people. Just admit it to yourself. And then say, God, I'm messing up. I can't change myself. Okay, I'm just messing up, and I'm going to keep messing up until you change me. Okay? And then continue with your life, and maybe the good Lord will help you out. Okay? My name is Roland.